Look into my eyes, now listen carefully. This is not just about football, this is not just about goals, trophy. This is about the mindset, this is about the mindset. This is about transformation, from the streets to stadiums, from a name to a brand, from passion to power. You think it's just a game? No, it's business, it's empire, it's legacy. You're about to hear the truth, not fantasy, not luck, discipline, pain, pressure, and pride. Because champions aren't born, they're built, and brands don't happen, they're engineered. Every step, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, it all comes. So today, I'm not giving you a speech, I'm handing you the blueprint. Let's begin. Vision beyond the game. From the very beginning, the path was never just about goals or trophies. The ambition burned deeper, hotter, and more relentless. While others focused on 90 minutes on the pitch, the vision was already far beyond the final whistle. It wasn't just about becoming a great footballer. It was about becoming unforgettable. A symbol, a standard, a force. Vision is what separates the ordinary from the exceptional. It's what turns a football pitch into a global platform. While many are content to be stars of the season, only a few aim to be icons of the era. From a young age, the eyes weren't just set on scoring. They were set on building. On creating something that would transcend generations, something that wouldn't fade with retirement or injury. The dream wasn't just to win games, the dream was to change the game itself. That vision required thinking differently. While others spent their energy proving they belonged, the mindset wasn't creating a legacy that couldn't be ignored. Every move was calculated, every opportunity analyzed. What sponsorship aligns with the brand? What message does every campaign send? What will be remembered 10 years from now? These questions weren't afterthoughts, they were the blueprint. Media appearances weren't random. Brand collaborations weren't luck. Every handshake, every partnership, every business venture, it was all part of a long-term strategy. The football field may have been the beginning, but it was never the boundary. From launching fashion lines to fitness brands, the aim was always to inspire people beyond sport. To show that excellence in one area can spill into every area of life. This vision wasn't just about building personal wealth or fame. It was about building value, about standing for something greater. Discipline, work ethic, belief. The initials on the back of a jersey became something more than just letters. They became a symbol of relentless ambition, of possibility. When you see a brand that stretches across continents, resonates with millions, and touches different industries, understand that it started with a dream, nurtured by purpose and built through tireless effort. This was never about being noticed. It was always about being remembered. The game was always bigger than the 90 minutes. The plan was always bigger than football. The purpose was always larger than the moment. Vision saw that from day one. Discipline over talent, talent is a gift. It's where most stories begin. But it's never where greatness ends. Too many rely on it, hoping it will carry them through every challenge. But talent without discipline fades. It's discipline that sharpens the gift. It's discipline that carries you through pain, through setbacks, through the nights when you don't feel like showing up. Talent may open the door, but discipline walks you through it every single day. From early morning runs to strict diets to repeating drills long after teammates have left the pitch. Discipline is the backbone of every great story. The says again when the legs are tired. It's the mindset that says amore when the world says enough. Discipline is not glamorous. It doesn't shine like trophies or trend like highlights. But it builds champions. Silently, relentless. Every training session, every recovery routine, every calculated rest day, these weren't chores, they were rituals. They were rituals, non-negotiables. Discipline created consistency, created results. While others partied, discipline stayed home. While others relaxed after a win, discipline was already preparing for the next match. That's the difference. That's the edge. It's not about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's necessary, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. When no one is watching. The world sees the goals, the celebrations, the moments of glory. But the foundation is built in silence, under pressure, in solitude. It's built in the gym before sunrise, in the kitchen with every meal, in every decision, big or small, that says I will not compromise. Discipline is about saying no to distractions, even the tempting ones. It's about understanding that every action today affects your legacy tomorrow. It's not about perfection, it's about commitment. The commitment to show up every single day, whether it's raining or shining, whether it's a final or a practice match. Discipline doesn't rely on motivation. It creates its own momentum. And when pressure comes, when the stakes are highest, discipline is the anchor. When the body wants to quit, discipline pushes forward. When the spotlight is blinding, discipline keeps the focus sharp. Talent may score a goal, but discipline wins championships. Discipline sustains greatness long after talent levels. That's why the focus was never on being the most talented. It was on being the most prepared, the most relentless, the most committed, because in the end, talent alone gets outpaced, but discipline, it outlasts. Turning critics into motivation critics are part of the journey. They come when you rise, they grow louder when you succeed, and they swarm when you stumble. But their words, their doubts, their judgments, they are not barriers, they are fuel. Where others break under criticism, champions build. Every doubt is a spark. Every insult is a challenge. Every voice that says you can becomes a reason to show that you can, and you will. Criticism doesn't destroy the focus, it sharpens them. It brings clarity. It forces reflection. And most importantly, it forces evolution. The booze in the stadium, the headlines in the papers, the noise on social media, none of it is personal. It's part of the spotlight. And when the spotlight is hot, it's a sign that you're shining. There's power in refusing to let critics define your worth. When the media questions your decisions, your performance, your leadership, don't answer with work. When they say you've peaked, that your time is done, that someone younger or faster is coming, don't react with emotion. React with results. That's where true power lives, in silence, in performance, in proving them wrong without ever addressing them. Critics thrive on reactions. They want distraction. They want you to waste energy explaining yourself. But energy must be conserved for growth, for progress, for dominance. Every great athlete, every icon, every game changer has faced criticism. Not because they failed, but because they succeeded so loudly that people couldn't look away. Let the criticism remind you that your actions have impact, that people are watching, that what you do matters. Turn their doubts into discipline. Turn their negativity into drive. Use every negative comment as a reminder that you still have more to prove. Not to them, but to yourself. Because when the mission is personal, external noise fades away. The mindset is simple. Critics don't know your routine. They don't see the early mornings, the sacrifices, the sweat, the pain. They don't feel the pressure in your chest when the game is on the line. So why let their opinions shape your story? Let them speak. Let them speak. Let them write. Let them mock. And then let the results speak. Turning criticism into motivation isn't about ego. It's about focus. It's about refusing to get emotional when it's time to get exceptional. It's about using every doubt as a reminder that the world is watching. And you're not done yet. Obsession with excellence is not an act, it's a lifestyle. It's not about doing great things once in a while. It's about doing small things greatly every single time. True greatness doesn't come from big moments. It comes from relentless preparation for those moments. And that preparation, it comes from obsession. A fire so deep that you don't just want to be better. You need to be. This obsession doesn't sleep. It doesn't relax. It doesn't celebrate too long. Every goal, every win, every award is a step, not a destination. Because when you're obsessed with excellence, a satisfaction is short. The joy of winning is powerful, but it quickly turns into the hunger to do it again and again and again. There is no finish line when greatness is the goal. Obsession means noticing details others miss. It means analyzing your own performance when the world is already clapping. It means staying behind to train when the cameras are off. It means looking in the mirror and asking, can I be better, even after being the best? That's the mindset. That's the engine that powers the great. To the obsessed, the routine becomes safe. Diets, sleep schedules, workouts, recovery, all locked in with precision. It's not about vanity, it's about responsibility. Excellence doesn't tolerate laziness. It doesn't excuse inconsistency. It demands more effort, more awareness, more heart. People confuse obsession with arrogance. They see confidence and assume ego, but what they don't see is hours behind closed doors. The pain masked by smiles. The sacrifice is made quietly. Obsession isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving your own potential right. It's about refusing to settle. It's about demanding the highest level from yourself even when you've already achieved what most people dream of. Obsession builds systems. It builds habits. It builds identity. When you wake up thinking about how to improve, when you fall asleep visualizing the next step, when your every move is tied to progress, that's when excellence becomes who you are, not just what you do. Injuries don't break the obsessed, they redirect them. Setbacks don't stop them, they rewire them. Every obstacle becomes a new challenge to master. Every limit becomes a test to surpass. It's not just physical, it's mental. The mind must be conditioned to want more, to need more, to expect more. That obsession creates distance. It separates the good from the elite. It makes some people uncomfortable, because when you demand excellence, you also demand accountability from yourself and from everyone around you. You don't tolerate laziness. You don't make excuses. You don't accept almost. This is the kind of mindset that makes people legends. The kind of attitude that turns a name into a brand. Not because of popularity, but because of consistency. Because of control. Because of an unwavering commitment to always rise higher, run faster, train harder. Excellence doesn't chase applause, it chases improvement, and obsession is the only fuel strong enough to carry that chase for years across countries, across cultures, across every challenge that dares to stand in the way. Strategic brand building is not a coincidence. It's not a byproduct of success. It's a mission crafted with intention, backed by decisions, and powered by identity. Being famous is one thing, but becoming a brand that commands global respect, that resonates with people from every corner of the world, that requires vision and relentless strategy, is not just about having your name on products, it's about making that name stand for something powerful, something unforgettable. It starts with understanding who you are and what you represent. Not what others say you are, but what you believe you stand for. Strength, precision, performance, leadership, discipline. Those values become the foundation. From the way you carry yourself to the way you speak in interviews, from the clothes you wear to the partnerships you choose, every move becomes a message. Every appearance, every gesture, every business venture, it's all part of a larger blueprint. The game taught discipline. The brand required vision. You can't endorse everything. You can't say yes to every opportunity. That's not brand building. That's brand dilution. Strategy means aligning with products and companies that mirror your values, your lifestyle, your message. Whether it's fashion, fitness, tech, or nutrition, the brand must be clear. This is not about trends. It's about legacy. A strong brand is consistent. It doesn't bend with public opinion. It doesn't rely on momentary hype. It grows steadily with each campaign, each launch, each new market. People don't just buy a logo, they buy belief. When they wear the shirt, drink the supplement, buy the fragrance, they're not just buying a product. They're buying into a mindset. That mindset must be protected. It must be sharpened. That means constant innovation. You can't stay static in a dynamic world. You've got to evolve, redefine the look, refresh the message, expand the reach, go from sportswear to lifestyle, from a signature to a movement. Every product must carry a piece of the identity. Excellence, ambition, confidence. Being a global brand is about trust, consistency. They trust clarity, they trust purpose. That trust must be earned over time with every delivery, post, every appearance. It's not just about visibility, it's about credibility. One wrong message, one unaligned move and trust begins to crack. That's why the greatest brands are protected like gold. Watch carefully, build slowly, grow smartly. The brand must speak when you're not in the room. It must echo your presence in countries you've never stepped into. It must carry your energy, your values, your discipline, even when you're not on the pitch. And the only way to achieve that is through strategy, through precision, through relentless consistency. Brand building is not an accident. It's a craft. It's an empire, brick by brick, deal by deal, choice by choice, a business plan built from the heart of a competitor and the mind of a leader. And that combination, when done right, doesn't just make you marketable, it makes you unforgettable. Consistency in performance, there's a difference between being good and being great. But there's a greater difference between being great once and being great always. Consistency is the bridge between success and greatness. It's what separates the highlight from the legacy. Many can have one magical season. Very few can perform at the highest level, year after year, in every stadium, in every competition, under every spotlight. Consistency doesn't come from talent alone. It's built through obsession, through preparation, through a hunger that never sleeps. When people see a player deliver match after match, season after season, they think it's effortless. But the truth is, it's anything but easy. Consistency is the result of never cutting corners, of respecting the process even when the results are already world-class. It's waking up early even after a win, it's hitting the gym the next day while others are still celebrating, it's reviewing the footage even when the scoreboard says victory. Consistency comes from the mindset that good is not good enough, that winning is not a moment, it's a habit, a way of life. The body must be maintained with military precision. Diet, training, rest, recovery, all need to be synchronized. You don't play 60 games a year at the highest level by hoping you're fit. You do it by preparing to be fit. You do it by respecting your body like a temple and treating your time like gold. But consistency isn't just physical, it's mental. It's showing up with the same focus whether it's a friendly or a final. It's giving 100% even when the outcome doesn't matter. It's demanding excellence from yourself even when nobody's watching. That's where consistency is forged, not under the lights, but in the quiet. Critics will come. Pressure will mount, expectations will rise, but consistency silences them all. It makes people expect excellence from you because they've seen it so often. And that pressure becomes fuel. It becomes part of the standard. It becomes part of your name. Injuries happen. Fatigue happens. Critics question your form, but consistency is about responding with action, not excuses. It's about staying at the top of your game while others fall to inconsistency, distractions, or decline. Longevity is the real test of greatness. Anyone can shine bright for a moment. But can you shine for a decade? Can you dominate in your 30s the same way you did in your 20s? Can you lead even when the legs are slower but the mind is sharper? That's what consistency is about. Showing that your standard is not based on age, hype, or luck. It's based on relentless preparation and unshakable mindset. You don't just play the game, you study it. You master it, you evolve with it. And every game becomes another chapter in a book that proves over and over again, this is not temporary, this is not a phase, this is who you are. Expanding influence, globally influence isn't given, it's earned. And once it's earned, it must be expanded with purpose. What begins on a field can reach far beyond borders, cultures, and industries if the intent is clear and the commitment is real. Influence is not just about having followers or fans. It's about impact. It's about shaping behavior, inspiring belief, and becoming a reference point for excellence, not just in sport but in life. From a small stage to the biggest arenas in the world, the presence starts to grow. But the goal isn't just personal recognition. The goal is to plant something deeper. To take the values forged through sweat, loss, and triumph, discipline, hard work, resilience, and turn them into a message that travels. Influence grows when actions remain louder than words. When people watch the lifestyle and learn the lesson without needing a speech. Influence isn't limited to those who play the same sport. The real expansion happens when your story begins to inspire those who've never watched the game. When the business world studies your discipline, when young students adopt your mindset, when entrepreneurs talk about your work ethic as a case study, that's when influence leaves the stadium and enters everyday life. That's when your impact becomes global. To expand influence is to understand responsibility. Every gesture, every interview, every collaboration, it all speaks. It sends a message, it creates perception. The higher you rise, the more eyes are on you. But instead of being burdened by that attention, use it, guide it, let it highlight what you stand for. Influence grows not by chasing trends but by setting standards. By staying authentic while adapting to change. Social media platforms become megaphones, but only if the voice behind them is consistent. Every post, every caption, every video, it's either building your reputation or breaking it. You have to choose, every time. Strategic thinking is critical. Influence doesn't spread through random decisions, it spreads through alignment, through choosing the right causes to support, the right markets to enter, the right stories to tell. Language, culture, time zones, none of it matters when your values are universal. People from different continents, different beliefs, different ages, they all connect with authenticity, with excellence, with a relentless pursuit of more. The expansion of influence also means embracing new arenas. Fitness, fashion tech, each one becomes a new opportunity to share the mindset, to reach new audiences, to open new doors. But every new space entered must reflect the same level of excellence that built the name. You don't dilute the brand to fit in. You elevate the space by being in it. Influence can't be measured just by applause. It must be seen in how people change because of what you represent, in how they move differently, think differently, demand more from themselves. That's the legacy of true influence. Not just attention, but transformation. Merging passion with business. When passion and business meet, the result isn't just success. It's purpose-driven success. It's progress with meaning. It's ambition with heart. Passion fuels the hustle. Business gives the structure. One without the other creates imbalance. But when they merge, they create momentum that's almost unstoppable. That's when the dream becomes a movement, and the movement becomes a model for how to live, grow, and lead. Passion starts it all. The fire to train longer, to fight harder, to keep going when no one's watching. That energy is raw, real, and necessary. But passion alone doesn't build an empire. You need business sense to scale that passion. To take that personal motivation and turn it into products, platforms, partnerships that live beyond the pitch. That's where the transformation begins. When your love for the game evolves into a system that supports others, inspires others, and creates value in the world, business is not the opposite of passion. It's amplifier. It provides the tools, the reach, the strategy to spread that passion beyond the locker room. It's about taking the mindset of an athlete and using it to lead companies, shape industries, and drive innovation. You've mastered competition, now you master the market. Merging passion with business means turning daily routines into scalable systems. The workouts become fitness brands. The recovery becomes wellness lines. The wardrobe becomes fashion labels. It's not about copying what others are doing. It's about sharing what already works for you and building a platform around it. Passion provides the proof. Business provides the plan. But merging the two requires discipline. You don't partner with just anyone. You don't attach your name to just anything. Because the moment your business contradicts your passion, you lose trust. You lose connection. The audience isn't stupid. They can sense when something is real and when it's just a paycheck. And if they sense it's not real, the brand dies before it even begins. So you lead with authenticity. You align with people and companies that share your mindset. You get involved, not just as a face, but as a thinker, a builder, a contributor. You don't just sell a product, you live it. And when people see that, the business grows on the strength of belief, not just marketing. Merging passion and business also means redefining success. It's not just numbers, it's impact. It's the feeling of building something that reflects your values. Something your fans, followers, and even critics can respect. Something that makes a difference, that sets a new standard, that shows what's possible when fire meets focus. It's a long game. There are no shortcuts. There are lessons, mistakes, pivots. But the key is to stay rooted in what drives you, though, what drives you. Passion must lead. Business must support. Together they form a balance that turns a career into a legacy and a legacy into a living force that keeps growing, long after the spotlight fades. Discipline beyond the game. Discipline is the invisible force that turns talent into greatness. It's not loud. It doesn't seek attention, but it shows up in every detail, every decision, every single day. Beyond the game, when the stadium lights are off and the world isn't watching, discipline is still working. It's there in the food that's chosen, the hours of sleep protected, the temptations resisted. It's there in the routine, unchanged by fame, undistracted by comfort. When you build your life around discipline, you don't need motivation every day. You don't wait for the perfect conditions. You move, you train, you build, even when no one is cheering. Because discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what your goal is. And when the goal is greatness, feelings come second. Emotions are acknowledged, but they never control the outcome. Discipline is what makes the difference when the margins are small. In elite performance, everyone has talent, everyone trains hard, but not everyone makes the same sacrifices outside of the field. That's where separation happens, not just during competition, but in the moments no one sees. The decisions that build the body, the mind, the mindset. The choices that say, I'm not here to be average, I'm here to be the best. This level of discipline touches everything. It controls not only the workout, but the recovery. Not just the public image, but the private routine. The phone is turned off when it's time to rest. The schedule is followed even when the mood says otherwise. Because excellence isn't occasional. It's habitual. It's a way of life that demands full commitment. People think discipline is about saying no, but really, it's about saying yes to your purpose, to your standard, to your vision of what's possible. It's about knowing that shortcuts don't exist. That success built on convenience is success that crumbles. So you show up tired, sore, stressed, but you show up anyway. Because that's the contract you sign with yourself. Even as success grows and options multiply, discipline becomes more important. Oh, more money, more fame, more distractions, they're not signs you've made it. They're test of whether you can keep the fire alive when comfort surrounds you, whether you can still say no when the world keeps saying yes, whether you can remember why you started, even when everyone else wants you to slow down. Discipline is also how you lead others. Not by telling them what to do, but by being the example. When teammates, employees often see that the grind is real, the respect comes naturally. Leadership through discipline is not loud. It's steady, reliable, unshakable. It's easy to be disciplined when everything's going well. But the true test comes in adversity, when injuries strike. When criticism grows, when setbacks hit, that's when discipline reveals its real power. It holds the line. It keeps you moving. It reminds you that one bad day doesn't change the mission. One obstacle doesn't end the journey. Because discipline is not about perfection, it's about persistence. About staying in control when the world feels out of control. Discipline beyond the game is what creates long-term success. It's what keeps the body strong, the mind sharp, the goals aligned. It's the quiet force behind every major achievement, the reason some fade and others last. It's the standard that doesn't bend, the commitment that doesn't break, the foundation that doesn't crack. Legacy beyond trophies are symbols of victory. But legacy is the story that remains when the trophies are forgotten. A true legacy isn't just measured in medals or records. It's measured in impact, in how you made people feel, in how you made them believe, in what you left behind when the game was over. Because moments pass, statistics fade. But the way you live, the way you competed, the way you inspired, that's eternal. Legacy is built through choices. Every moment, every game, every interaction. It all adds up. Not just what you won, but how you won. Not just what you achieved, but how you treated people on the way. It's about being more than a performer. It's about being a role model, a symbol of what's possible through relentless work and unshakable belief. To build a legacy is to understand that your influence is bigger than your job. About the way you speak, the way you lead, the values you represent. Legacy comes from consistency, from always showing up with integrity, passion, and professionalism, even when the cameras are off. A legacy is shaped by how you use your platform, whether you lift others as you rise, whether you open doors, create opportunities, and empower the next generation. The real legends are not just remembered for what they did, but for what they gave, for how they used their name, their reach, their resources to create change beyond themselves. Legacy isn't built in one moment. It's built over years, sometimes decades, of doing the right thing over and over again, not for applause, not for headlines, but because it's who you are, it's how you are raised, it's the code you live by, and over time, people see it, they feel it, they remember it. Long after the boots are hung up, long after the spotlight moves on, the legacy continues. Legacy is also about evolution. You can't stay who you were. You have to grow, you have to adapt. But in that growth, the core must remain. The values, the work ethic, the hunger, that must never be lost. The greats evolve, but they never forget where they came from. They never lose the fire that built their name. Building legacy means making decisions today that will speak tomorrow. It means thinking long-term, playing the game of life with the same intensity you played your sport. It's about building businesses, foundations, brands, not for ego, but for continuity. For something that lives on after you. For something your children, their children, their children, and the world can point to and say, that was more than an athlete. That was a force, and legacy isn't about perfection. It's about effort, about resilience, about rising again and again, about showing people that greatness is not magic. It's work, it's discipline, it's vision. That anyone who dares to commit at the highest level, who sacrifices, who lives, they can leave their own mark on the world. Legacy beyond trophies means your story becomes bigger than sport. It becomes a symbol, a light, a standard for what's possible. It becomes something that lives forever, not in glass cases, but in hearts, minds, and history. You've seen the playbook. Now go rewrite your story. Because the world doesn't need more players, it needs more legends. This is Motivate with CR7. See you at the top. Oncoming collision.